Hey there, I hope you're doing well. I wanted to speak today on the topic of joy being an act of resistance. I love this topic. I'm increasingly hearing people talk about that, and there's so much weight to that quote. And it's something that I think I have actively been thinking about anyway to help lift myself out of the weighed down feeling that I've been sitting in for quite a while now in light of everything happening in the world these days. This is a really intense time, and I have to say there is a lot of value, a lot of power in leveraging joy, specifically self-care and self-love as an act of resistance. And the following statement came to my mind. I wanted to share it with you guys. The way that I think about this, I'm not ignoring anything. I'm not ignoring the gravity of this moment and everything that's going on. I am so plugged in. At the same time, I'm leaning into the difficulty of this moment and all that it is revealing about our past and present by indulging in self-love and joy. I'm thinking, for example, of all the ways that I can celebrate my mind, my body, my soul, my ancestors, my beauty, just everything. It is so incredibly easy to feel depressed, to feel hopeless. And that's the very thing that you have to counter. It's that very feeling, that very emotion that you have to actively counter through diving deeper into acts of joy, because you need to be strong. You need to feel empowered to take a stand, to resist acts of social injustice. And the way that you do that, I mean, there's different ways that we can look at this quote, joy being an act of resistance, but one of the ways that you can actively counter social injustice is by being strong yourself, by being empowered yourself, and not consistently feeling weighed down. That is natural, by the way, to feel weighed down when really intense things happen, but lifting yourself up through joy, through self-love, through self-care, there is a lot of power in that, and that's something that I'm increasingly indulging in every single day. So to that point, I wanted to mention these specific steps that I'm taking these days to do exactly this, to indulge in joy as an act of resistance. This morning, for example, something really basic. I sat outside and I just let my skin soak in some sunlight. I felt like it was a way of celebrating my skin, the depth of my skin, by sitting in that sun, and it felt so energizing and so good. And I felt like my spirit was just filling back up just by sitting out there. The second thing is indulging in beauty. I love indulging in different products and checking out different skincare products and makeup and all those good things. And I happened to see on Beyonce's Instagram, she featured in her Instagram profile something called the Black Parade Route, which is a list of Black businesses for all of us to check out. So one of the sections on that list is Black beauty brands, and it just happened to be that Mented Cosmetics was featured. And I have increasingly been watching their posts because I am in love with their product line. And in fact, I recently purchased one of their lipsticks, which I'm wearing right now. This is Foxy Brown. I love it so much. And this is the packaging. Foxy Brown by Mented Cosmetics. I love the way that this lipstick feels on my lips. And if you're looking for some awesome neutrals, like really good neutral tones that work well on brown skin, I highly recommend Mented Cosmetics for sure. So I happen to see them mentioned, but I do want to make sure I check out the other brands listed on that on the Black Parade list. So I'm excited to do that this weekend, checking out some other brands on the list. Another step that I'm taking is, of course, nourishing my mind. I am currently reading a book called No Thanks, Black Female and Living in the Martyr-Free Zone by Keturah, Kendrick. I absolutely love this book. I just started reading it this morning as I was sitting outside. It's a page turner. It's a book that really resonates with me in terms of, as a woman, what steps can I take to lean deeper into authentic living? What choices can I make to do exactly that? There's so much I can say on this book, but that would be a video onto itself. But there is a particular review on here on the back that mirrors exactly how I feel about it as I read it. It's by Samara Harris, and it says, "With no thanks, Keturah Kendrick powerfully illustrates the radical notion that Black women can have abundant, fulfilling, and connected lives, powered by our own humanity and desires. This is the revolution and the revolutionary that we need now. I love it. So yeah, this is definitely a page turner. And if you're looking for literature on how to lean deeper into authentic living as a woman, that's a great book to consider. So in terms of podcasts, I did make a note a few videos ago that I wanted to share some of my favorite podcasts. So here we go. Here are some of my favorites that bring me joy. So the first one I want to call out is Be My Passenger by Samara. I highly recommend this podcast. It makes me feel energized. It makes me feel so lifted. Just my mood, it just feels brighter after listening to that podcast. So I highly recommend. The next one is Sylvester McNutt's podcast, Free Your Energy. Really insightful, motivational speaker. And then there's Therapy for Black Girls by Dr. Joy Harden Bradford, another great one. I really like this podcast, especially from like a Black self-care, mental health perspective. And then there's Amanda Seales. A lot of us know Small Doses, really cool. It brings me joy and it's right on point with like the latest societal, cultural happenings, just overall a feel-good podcast. I highly recommend that one. Two more on my list. There's also Unchained and Unbothered by Keturah Kendrick, the same author of No Thanks, so highly recommend her again. And my final podcast recommendation is Unlocking Us by Brene Brown. I love Brene Brown. She's all about authentic living and lifting the veil on pretty deep issues, so I highly recommend Unlocking Us as well. So yeah, I'll leave it there. There is so much to explore on this topic, but I think we covered a lot of ground in this video. Let me know in the comments below what steps, what acts of joy are you taking as acts of resistance? I would love to hear from you. We can learn so much from each other on this topic. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Please feel free to share it with your friends and family, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.